All right, I have a question for you. And the question reads, why let rules rule? Now, why are we supposed to be governed by rules? And why is it that we are supposed to follow them? Is there something going to happen if we do not follow rules? Now, speaking of rules, our discussion for this week will be about the rules of subject and verb agreement. Now, I have decided to divide the topic into two parts because it's quite lengthy and I want you to focus on some rules at a time. So, I am Teacher A, ang inyong e-guro para sa araw na ito. At ito, ang E-turo. Alright, so this is my outline for discussion. Now, for today's episode, we are just going to have the first 5 categories of rules. Those are general rule, compound subjects, intervening phrases, special nouns, and irregular plural nouns. I will be saving numbers 6 to 8 for the episode next week. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's have the general rule. Our general rule says singular nouns shall receive singular verbs while plural nouns receive plural verbs. So how do we know if nouns are singular? Okay, no S at the end or ES. So usually those are the letters attached to a noun if they are if nouns are singular. While for plural nouns, we usually see S or ES at the end, so they shall receive plural verbs. Okay? So also, do not be confused. Singular verbs are those verbs without S or ES at the end. Alright? So again, singular nouns are nouns without S or ES at the end, while singular verbs are those verbs with S or ES at the end. Okay? As for plural nouns, those are nouns which are ending in S or ES, and plural verbs are those verbs which are in base form. Alright? Okay. So I have examples here. Michelle is reading a book. So our subject here is Michelle. Michelle is singular, so the verb that we're going to use is. Alright? For the next example, we have the dogs are playing. So our subject here is dogs. Dogs is a plural subject, so the verb that we're supposed to use is are. Okay? So what are the be verbs which are singular? Is and was. Okay? Plural verbs are and were. Okay? Was is the past tense of the verb is, and were is the past tense of the verb are. Okay? Next, we have compound subjects. For compound subjects, we have cases. Case number 1, there are subjects joined together by and. Now, 2 different subjects joined together by and shall receive a plural verb. So I have here an example. Andrea and Justine are going to see the doctor. We used the verb are because the subject here is Andrea and Justine. They are different subjects joined together by and, so it's plural. Okay? Next, Christian and Mikey are selling cooked food. Our subject here is Christian and Mikey. Alright? Next, case still number 1, but 2 subjects joined together by and that are the same or may refer to one singular unit shall receive a singular verb. This time, there are combined subjects joined together by and, but referring to a single unit. So still singular verb. So what are the examples? Bread and butter is what I had for breakfast. Bread and butter is referring to one unit, so we are supposed to use the verb is. Alright? Next, my brother and friend is going with me to visit our parents. We use the verb is because our subject here is referring to the same person, my brother and friend. My brother is also my friend at the same time. So it's only referring to one person. The subject, or the verb rather, that we're supposed to use here is. Okay? Let's proceed to case number 2 of compound subjects. Now, subjects joined together by either or neither nor. What does the rule say? If there are two subjects joined together by either or neither nor, the verb agrees with the nearest subject. So always check the verb, always check the subject rather, and see which is closer to the verb. Alright, I have an example here. Either the bag or the books are going to be donated this coming July. The subject here is either the bag or the books. But which one is closer to the verb? Books. Alright, so we are supposed to use the verb are. But if it's going to be reversed, such as either the books or the bag is going to be donated. So we have used is because the closer subject to the verb this time is bag. Alright? I have another example here. Neither the judges nor the contestant knows the result of the voting campaign. In this case, we have used the subject, the verb rather, knows, because the closer subject to the verb is contestant, which is singular. Alright? So let's proceed to the next category, which is intervening phrases. Always remember, words that come after the noun may be disregarded and that the noun shall agree with the main subject. So, intervening phrases do not affect the number of the main subject. Okay, let's take a look at some examples here. Luisa, together with her friends, is coming to Popoy's birthday party. The subject here is Luisa. Where is the intervening phrase? Together with her friends. Okay? It does not affect the number of the main subject, which is Luisa. Now, the intervening phrase might be ending with friends. Do not be confused. Friends may be plural, but then it's a part of the intervening phrase and it does not affect the number of the subject, which is Luisa. So we have used the verb is. Alright? Next. My parents, together with Leticia, are coming to the airport to fetch someone. Alright. Now, in this sentence, the intervening phrase is together with Leticia. Okay? The intervening phrase might be ending with Leticia, but then the main subject here is my parents, which is plural. That is why we have used the verb are. Alright? Let's proceed to the next category, which is about special nouns. We have cases for special nouns too. Now, there are special nouns which might be plural in form but singular in meaning. What does that mean? So there are nouns which are ending in s or es, but it is singular in meaning. Always remember that. That's our first case. We have here an example. Gymnastics requires balance, strength, flexibility, and endurance. So we have used the verb requires here because the subject here is gymnastics. It might be plural in form because it ends in s, but then this noun is singular in meaning. Okay? Next, billiards is his favorite pastime. So this time in this sentence we have used is because still the special noun here is billiards. It might be ending in s, it might be plural in form, but then it is considered still singular. Alright? Let's proceed to case number 2. There are special nouns which are always plural. Now, earlier, there might be special nouns which might be plural in form but singular in meaning. This time, there are also special nouns which are always plural. So what are the examples? My pants are already loose. Pants is always plural, so we are supposed to use a plural verb which is are. Next, our belongings are safely secured in a room upstairs. So belongings is an example of a special noun which is always plural, so we use the verb are. Next, irregular plural nouns. So there are some plural nouns formed irregularly by changing its spelling. So this time, it might not be really plural in form, but the spelling has changed. The verb shall still agree with the noun, referring back to the general rule. Okay? Because we are talking about plural nouns. It's just that they are formed irregularly. So what are the examples? The children are playing with their friends. Children is an irregular plural noun. What is the singular form? Child. Okay, so we use the verb are. Next, data are retrieved from the offices. Our subject here is data. It is considered plural. What is the singular form? Datum. Okay, so we use the plural verb are. Alright, so those are the rules that we have discussed. And let me see whether you were able to learn about those rules, even if we have a pretty limited time to discuss them. So let's try these. For the first part, you have to complete the sentences by choosing the correct verb inside the parentheses. You only have to complete the sentences by choosing the verb, correct verb of course. Choices are enclosed inside the parentheses. Okay, let's go. Number 1, Mark together with his classmates is or are trying to finish the task before the deadline. Now, what rule do you think is concerned with this sentence? Okay, the rule that is concerned or connected to this sentence is intervening phrases. Okay, just like what I have said earlier, those intervening phrases do not affect the number of the subject in the sentence. In this case, the intervening phrase is together with his classmates. Now, the intervening phrase ends with classmates. You might be confused because classmates is plural. But then the subject here, or the main subject rather, is Mark. Mark is singular, and the intervening phrase is ending with the word classmates. So you might be confused. Okay? Just like what I have said earlier, intervening phrases do not affect the number of the main subject. Okay? So which do you think is the answer here? Correct. The correct answer is because Mark is singular. Alright, let's proceed to the second sentence. Either the manager or the employees is or are going to represent the group. What do you think is the answer? Is or are? Now, before I reveal the answer, let's try to study the sentence. The subject here is a compound subject. Okay, I think you already got that. And the subject here is either the manager or the employees. Just like what I have mentioned earlier, compound subjects joined together by either and or, okay, the subject will, the verb rather, will agree to the nearest subject, which is the nearer subject to the verb, manager or employees. Employees. So, the correct answer is are. Okay? You might be confused because there are two subjects joined together by either or, and as stated by the rule earlier, the subject nearer to the verb will agree, not the other one. Okay? Next. Bacon and eggs is or are Carl's favorite dish for breakfast ever since. Now we have a compound subject again, but then it is joined together by and. Do you think this is plural? Okay, I think you got the answer. Now, for compound subjects joined together by and but is referring to a single unit or a singular object, okay, it is still singular. Okay, so the answer for this item is. Okay, I think you got it correct. Next. Neither Anton nor his friends know or knows about the surprise party. We have a compound subject again joined together by neither and nor. So same with numbers 2 and 3. Okay, those are compound subjects. Same with number 4. Now, the closest or the rule which is closest to number 4 is the rule for number 2 because they're just the same. For number 2, it's just either and or. But for number 4, it is neither and nor. And the rule is going to be the same. Whichever subject is nearer to the verb, that will agree to the verb itself. So, our subject here is neither Anton nor his friends. So the closest subject to the verb is friends. So what do you think is the answer? No or knows? The answer is knows. Sorry, no. Alright. Because the closest subject to the verb is friends. It is plural. Alright. Next, number 5. Women is or are as important as everyone else in the society. What do you think is the answer? The answer is are, because women is considered a plural subject. Okay? As stated in our discussion earlier, there are irregular plural nouns, and women is the plural form of woman. Alright? Now, I think you're getting better. Let's proceed to part 2. Complete the sentences by filling in the blanks with the correct form of the verb. So this time, you are going to complete the sentences, but there are no choices anymore. However, I have clues. Okay, I have clues which are enclosed inside the parentheses. So let's proceed. Number 1, my mother and guide blank going with me. Inside the parentheses, I have the word be because we have to think of a be verb. So that's a clue, okay? So we are going to think of a be verb which will agree to the subject, my mother and guide. So earlier, as we have discussed about, we are going to what? We are going to make sure that the subject and the verb will agree to each other. And what rule do you think is concerned with this item? It's about compound subjects joined together by and, but those subjects are joined, but those subjects rather are referring to a singular unit or the same thing. Alright? So the answer here is. Next. Mathematics and physics blank two related subjects. So again, we have a be verb. What do you think is the answer? The answer is are. I think you got it correct. Now, what rule is concerned with this item? There are actually two compound subjects joined together by and. They are different subjects, or they're different ideas, and those different ideas are special nouns. Remember, special nouns may either have two cases. One is that it might be singular in meaning but plural in form. So that's the case concerned here. Okay? So those two subjects are special nouns and they are both joined together by and. So the answer is are. Next. My feet blank hurting from the shoes I have worn earlier. What do you think is the answer? The answer is are, because the subject here is feet, and this is an irregular plural noun. What's the singular form? Foot. Alright. Next. Either Luis or his friends blank responsible for the changes in the settings of the computer. What do you think is the answer? Another be verb is missing here. Let's go back to the rules. Okay? When two subjects are joined together by either and or, the verb will agree to the nearest subject, which is, in this case, friends. Friends is a plural noun. So the answer here is are. Okay, very good. And the last one, Roland and Ella blank planning for a surprise for their mother, Susan, in her upcoming birthday. This time, we have two subjects joined together by and those two subjects are different persons. So this is, or the subject rather is, plural. Alright, so this the answer here is are. So those are the exercises. I'm hoping that you'll get better in time. I understand learning English is not happening in just a snap. Okay, there are exercises that we can still do, and I hope that you can get better over time. And with that said, good job. Okay, always be motivated to learn English because it's really not that hard. Okay, I know you have the patience to learn, and I know definitely you're going to take some time to learn this. Okay, now with that said, I would like to say thank you for joining in or joining with me in this episode of the subject and verb agreement. Now, tune in next week for another set of rules for the subject and verb agreement. Once again, I am Teacher A, ang inyong e-guro na naniniwala na ang edukasyon ay walang limitasyon. Kaya kung alam mo, halika, ituro mo.